Greetings! My name is Lou Marcos, and I am a professor of English and scholar in residence at Houston Baptist University. I would like to tell you a little bit about my new book, Ancient Voices, An Insider's Look at Classical Greece. Now, in the past, I've written books that have focused on the Iliad and Odyssey of Homer, the Greek tragedies of Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides, and the philosophy of Plato. But this time around, I wanted to write a quieter, more intimate book that would help bring us in to the heart and soul of the ancient Athenian and try to figure out what made him so special and how he changed the world and in many ways created us in the modern world. Now, to do that, I kind of dimmed down the louder voices of Homer and listened for the quieter voices. I was thinking of something I read in C.S. Lewis, that if you want to understand the medieval knight, don't study him from the outside, put on his helmet and look at the world through his visor. And that's what I've done. At the center of my book are the two greatest speeches of the ancient Greek world, the funeral oration of Pericles and the apology that Socrates gave before the Athenian jury. Now, in Pericles' funeral oration, which was the inspiration for Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, we hear an actual ancient Athenian explain to us what democracy means, why it is worth fighting for, why it is worth dying for. And we hear it in his voice. We don't have to impose upon him. We can draw out his voice. In Socrates, as he's defending his life, and as it turns out unsuccessfully, we get to hear from the point of view, from the mouth of an Athenian citizen, explaining what it means to be a citizen and how he's willing to give even his life to be true to his covenant with Athens. That's at the center of the book, but around it I've put a whole symphony of voices that, again, we can easily miss. We'll look at Hesiod, a contemporary of Homer actually, who wrote about the 5 ages of man and how we've lost the golden age and are forced to live in the iron age. And we'll hear the hope and pessimism of the ancient Greek. We'll get to listen to Solon, the inventor of Athenian democracy, who wrote poetry. And we're going to look at one of his poems where he explains to us what he was trying to do. We'll look at something that used to be read by every schoolboy learning Greek, but not much today. Xenophon, a great historian who helped lead a group of a sort of lost squadron in the middle of Persian territory and help them escape. And we're going to look at that story from his own point of view and understand the unique leadership skills that he had that got him out of there. We'll look at stories from Herodotus that help us understand what distinguishes a democratic Greek from a tyrannical Persian or Babylonian or Lydian. And finally, we'll look at the literature that came out of Alexander the Great, an age that was extremely cultured and urban, but in some ways was melancholy and lost its nerve. We'll look at a great Greek epic that is less read today, the story of Jason and the Argonauts, and how it presents a world to us that we've lost. We'll look at some Greek comedies, and we'll look at some poetry that is pastoral. It looks at the countryside, and yet even as it celebrates the countryside, it is mourning the loss of that simpler way of life. So again, in this book, I try to be humble. I try to open my ears and hear what they're saying to us so we can understand these unique people from the inside out. I do hope you'll join me and that you will have ears to hear. Thank you.